All right, good morning and welcome to the agenda this morning on Dominion Brokers Group. I am Chike Obogo. Well, before we delve into today's discussion, social media was agog yesterday, although the event occurred on the 5th. It's the story of a popular musician, Wasiu Ayinde, what you popularly know as K1. You know, did he have a close shave with death? What was he trying to do on that runway? My focus this morning on that issue is this concept of Ariku Yeri. Many people have tagged him on social media. You saw him bend under the wings of that aircraft. You know, that word Ariku Yeri, what does it actually mean? Ariku Yeri? Does it mean what it translates? Well, the Yoruba concept of Ariku Yeri is really not widely documented, especially when it comes to easily accessible sources. And that term, Ariku Yeri, is basically context specific. Well, if you go through some Yoruba literature, especially the book Areago Ariku Yeri by L. Ogunira, you find out that Ariku Yeri is a name or concept tied to themes of justice, morality, and societal order within any traditional and modern Yoruba society. If you want us to explore that, we could do, but that's not the topic for today. But when you look at the basic concept, Ariku Yeri, you translate it literally. He who sees death and dodges it. Did Kwamwan dodge death yesterday? Oh, what gave him that audacity to be on the runway? Well, the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria have come up with a statement this morning and basically addressing some of these issues. Yes, and that statement, I'll be bringing that to you in a bit, where it has tried to clear the air. Yes, that's the press release on our screen there. It says the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria wishes to formally address the incident that occurred on Tuesday, 5th August, at the domestic terminal of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. The incident involved a notable Nigerian musician, King Wasiu Ayinde Marshal, also known as K1 The Ultimate, and a pilot of Value Jet Airlines. Primarily, investigations confirmed that the passenger was scheduled to board the morning flight to Lagos, which was operated by Value Jet. During boarding, the passenger attempted to carry an unidentified liquid substance on board, despite repeated warnings from aviation safety personnel and the flight captain. In accordance with international aviation security standards, specifically Nigeria's National Civil Aviation Security Program and the ICAO Annex 17, it says liquids exceeding 100 milliliters, that's 100 ml, are not permitted through security screening unless medically necessary and properly declared. The passenger was informed of this regulation, but repeatedly declined to this and even to decline to comply. As boarding continued, an airline security officer asked the passenger to step aside for further clarification. The passenger allegedly refused and spilled the contents of the flask on the officer, which turned out to be alcohol. The flight captain intervened but faced similar resistance. After confirming that boarding was complete, she instructed the closure of the aircraft door. At this juncture, the passenger moved to the front of the aircraft and refused to leave the area despite repeated requests. He was ultimately escorted away by the authorities, the authorities' crime unit for further investigation, after which he was released. Yes. Well, it goes on and on and on, but the press release is there. The concept is K1, King Wasiu Ayinde Marshal. Has he taken up the cloak of the Yoruba concept of Ariku Yeri? Ariku Yeri? Well, he who sees death and dodges it, literally. However, when you go to a deeper meaning, contextually, Ariku Yeri signifies justice, morality, and so on. But let's go to the topic of today. We'll be discussing a topic that is critical to global progress, and that is child marriage and child education. Around the world, millions of girls are denied the chance to learn, grow, and thrive because of cultural practices like child marriage. But there is hope. Hope through empowerment policies and collective action. We all can change the narrative. All right, we'll be joined this morning by an individual who has been at the forefront of this fight. Stay tuned, because it is a conversation you wouldn't want to miss. We'll get started after this break. Stick around, don't go away.
Ever dreamed of creating the next viral series or telling powerful stories on the big screen? This summer, your passion for TV can become a reality. Our TV Practical Summer Class is calling all future scriptwriters, producers, directors, video editors, reporters, news editors, and on-air personalities. Get hands-on training from industry professionals. Learn to shoot with professional cameras, master editing software, and produce your own content from start to finish. This isn't just a class. It's your launch pad. Don't just watch TV. Make it. Enroll now. Spaces are limited. Visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng or call the number 0706 777 9435 0706 777 9435. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
Welcome back from that break. Yes. Do you know that according to UNICEF, 12 million girls under 18 are married each year? That's one girl every 3 seconds, according to UNICEF. And when girls are married young, their education often stops, limiting their opportunities and perpetuating cycles of poverty. Today on the agenda, we'll explore why this happens, how cultural practices play a role, and what we can do to empower girls through education. Well, let me introduce our guest this morning, Dr. Joke Fashola. Dr. Fashola is an educationist and a girl-child advocate who works to end child marriage and promote education for girls. And also, she's there making sure that the girl child has a better future and a better life. Dr. Fashola, good morning and welcome on the agenda this morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Well, it's good to have you on the show this morning. Well,
can you hear me? I want to be sure you are hearing me.
Yeah, you are live. We can hear you. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
good.
You're live. You're live.
Because I'm currently out of the country, so
yeah, and
I want to be sure that you can hear me loud and clear.
Yeah, and I may say you're looking so radiant this morning, Dr. Mrs. Fashola.
Well, for the sake of the girl child, I needed to get up to be able to attend to this course.
Thank you.
Because as a woman, it is important that we pull the girl child up so that everybody gets to have a better life.
Yes. So
with a better girl child, you have better homes and better society. Because the girl child is at the start of the ladder for the home improvement. So it's a whole thing.
Okay, so let's jump right in. Why is the girl-child marriage such a significant barrier to girls' education globally? Why is it?
once a child is married, once the girl is married, what else can she do? What else can that girl do? So in essence, once the girl is married off, there's nothing more to be done. Everything concerning her life is cut short. And so in essence, the whole matter becomes a problem. And that way, can you still hear me?
Go ahead. You're live.
Because the call was trying to call me.
Yeah, go ahead.
In essence, the matter becomes, the girl is stifled once she's married. And more importantly, a girl child married off at as early as 10, 11, 12. Meanwhile, women are not even supposed to be married. The legal age of marriage, I think in Nigeria is 16. But even at that, that is still wrong, because she's not like, okay, if a girl enters, the age to enter secondary school now is what age? They are saying, they're proposing 12. So the girl would not even have finished secondary school, and you marry her off. What happens after that? The life is cut short. And her ambition, everything, without her knowledge, without her input, there it goes. So really, we don't get to have the best of a particular child by marrying her off early in life.
So let's look at.
So that is it.
Yeah, let's look at some cultural practices which may be part of the factors. Can you give us specific examples of how these cultural practices could contribute to hindering the girl child from, getting to her set goal in life?
Africa, there's so many cultural practices that are just against women, and more importantly, the girl child. You have the concept of rites of passage. In some societies, girls are forced to practice some cultural practices which actually make sure that once they have the cultural practices, take for instance the issue of genital mutilation. In some tribes, once the child is circumcised, they call it circumcision. But in the girl child advocacy, it is actually genital mutilation. Because how can you just hold a woman, a girl of about 16, and you begin to cut part of a private part in order to stop her from getting immoral? What is the relationship of genital mutilation and immorality? And immediately that is done, they are marrying the girl off. So once that girl is married off, even painfully, after undergoing so much pain, you marry off the girl. And at the end of the day, that's it. Once the girl is married, then in some places they will say they are protecting her virginity so that she doesn't sleep with many men before she gets married off. But what do we say about the protection of virginity of the men? And anyway, who are the people marrying the young girls? They're not boys. They are men, full-grown adults. Then arranged marriages. They say they betroth a girl to another family. Who does that? All these practices are against the girl child. And there's poverty is a very, very important factor. They use the girl, they collect money to make sure to sort. In fact, there are times they collect money to make sure the the boy child can go to school. There was an issue of a property we're talking about, and importantly in Ibadan, you have the issue of land history. And they were saying that when we trace the history of the land, we were fighting that the women in the family sold the property while they were away. Then one elder in the family asked them, said, where were you when the female children were selling the land? Which was a very critical question. When the female children were selling the land, they said no, that there was a disease outbreak on the farm. So the male children fled. When we trace the history of the land, you know what happened? The land was paid as dowry over a daughter. And that's the land that male children were now fighting over that female children sold. You see, the land was bride price for a female child. It can be that bad. The issue of poverty, then traditional rights and beliefs. Even few women, even mothers will say no, that yes, because the same thing happened to them, then they expect that the same thing would happen to their children. There is fear that the girl might not be able to get married. There is fear that over time, these beliefs actually inhibit the girl child to the point that you begin to wonder if the boy child and the girl child were not created equal. And it even happens in homes. The boy child will be seated, well, incidentally, unfortunately, I don't have any girl. But I taught my boys to cook with hunger. When you are hungry, you will go and cook. Do I look like the girl child that will be running around? I mean, if I don't have any daughter, who will I be sending? It goes to show that we need to do better by raising the girl child and the boy child. I'm an advocate of raising good children, not even just the girl child. Because if you raise a boy badly, it's going to impact on the life of the girl child that you're even raising well. Somebody who comes in and puts his feet on the table, that both of you come back from work together and the man goes to sit, excuse me, Ejo, we can do better than that. Then between all sorts of cultural norms and practices, which are in this time and age, very archaic. Thank you.
All right. With all you've just said now, the next question I want to ask you, Mrs. Fashola, what are these consequences for these girls? What are the consequences for these girls? Not just educationally, but let's talk in terms of health and empowerment.
The case of VVF, vagina fistula. Yeah. These issues that we're talking about are not rampant they're not rampant in the West. They're not rampant in the Southwest. Go to Northwest, Northeast, and even some parts of central Nigeria. The cases are rampant because the girl was not fully formed before being subjected to big private part of men. And in fact, it's actually carnage. It's unfair. It's unfair. And you see, it demeans the girl. The chance at life was cut short right from early stage. And I think that's barbaric and that's wicked. It's not nice. We need to do better. We don't need to make the girl inferior at the expense of her getting forward in life. It is not good. It is not good. We need to be very deliberate about making sure that both male and female children have equal chances at life. And you'll be shocked. I run a school and you discover that the female children are quite smarter. Yes, if you take a poll, female children are quite smarter, especially at the early stage. They're smarter, and you now cut all that smartness, all in the name of marrying them off early or stopping their education. It's not just marriage. They stop the girl child for the male child to thrive. And oftentimes, unfortunately, the male children do not even thrive. Sadly.
Oh, okay. Well, some of these consequences you said, but you just mentioned that of education. How about the consequences in terms of health itself? Health.
So I mentioned. I mentioned vaginal fistula.
Okay.
A lot of young girls are actually, it's because we don't have statistics in our country. A lot of young girls are actually depressed. They're anxious because you are growing up and you know that at some point you are going to be stopped for your brother. You're going to be sold into slavery. That's more or less what it means when you take a bride price over a girl and use it to send to train the male child. That is, these have serious health impacts. Coupled with the fact that a girl that is not properly developed enough begins to have sexual intercourse. When even the Bible says, girls should not have sex. Yes, before marriage. But that is also like saying girls should not have sex early in life. And now you subject a 12-year-old to a man of 40, all because he paid some stupid amount of money. These things have serious health impact. The girls are depressed. They're not happy. They can't be happy. Because some of the girls that are able to escape the onslaught of early marriage will meet the ones that did not escape it. The ones that did not escape, how will they feel? They'll be depressed, they'll be sad, and they'll be anxious. And you find some of them, even look at cases of some of us who went on to study, and some who did not get the chance at life to continue the way, even male and female. You have the ones who did not go on to become something in life. Take all these school associations that we now have. Their activities are minimal because they have a sense of complex. They feel they don't belong. They feel they are not up to. You call them to come and do these things and they're like, what's there? You want to draw them, but they're like, we don't belong to the same strata in life, which shouldn't be. Everybody ought, male and female children, ought to have chance at the good life and moving ahead in life. We should stop this collecting bride price over female children to pay for that doesn't happen in the West. Most of these issues are in the North. And okay, if you walk through this, you see girl children out of school. How do you feel? Big girl children becoming beggars. After a while, they withdraw the male children and they say they are retrieving them to send them to school. But these mothers, you see, it's women against women, will not allow the female children to be withdrawn. Because they feel over time somebody will come and pay one stupid bride price to take the girl off their hands.
Are you then condemning the issue of bride price, the payment of bride price? Do you see it as some funds for slavery?
No, I'm not condemning bride price, but bride price should be paid at the right age for a child, for a woman, not for a girl child.
So what age are you looking at?
Bride price should be paid over a woman, a consenting woman. These girl children are not consenting people. They have no rights. They have no say in the matter. A man of 40 coming for a girl of 15, what say does the girl have? What? No, Chike, talk about it. What say does that girl have? They're not consenting. The girl is not a consenting. She has no say in the matter. You just look at her. Okay, we have betrothed you to this person. They're coming to pay for it, and there you go. No. Bride price is not a problem. They paid my bride price. But I was the one that brought the man home. That's okay. This is the man you should receive
Dr.
bride price from.
Dr. Fashola, so basically, we're setting an agenda this morning. And so the agenda we're going to set is, at what age should a girl child be matured enough to say, yes, she's ready to get him married? At what age are we going to, is she coming home with a man, instead of being betrothed to somebody at a very pedophilic age?
Personally, I would say 22. But a girl of 18 is matured enough to say, she understands her emotions, she understands her feelings. But personally, I would say 22, because by 22, most girls should have finished university education, which sincerely, I think we should begin to work in our society, in developed world, where and a girl of 22 understands herself. A girl of 18 should actually understand herself, but I think, but by and large, minimum 18. At least that way, the person is not, you have a consenting adult. You have a consenting adult.
Oh, okay.
And she's likely to have finished secondary school.
Okay. So before we move to solutions, let's take a quick break. When we return, we'll talk about how we can tackle these cultural practices and also promote policies that empower girls. Please stay with us. Don't go away.
Ever dreamed of creating the next viral series or telling powerful stories on the big screen? This summer, your passion for TV can become a reality. Our TV Practical Summer Class is calling all future scriptwriters, producers, directors, video editors, reporters, news editors, and on-air personalities. Get hands-on training from industry professionals. Learn to shoot with professional cameras, master editing software, and produce your own content from start to finish. This isn't just a class. It's your launch pad. Don't just watch TV, make it. Enroll now. Spaces are limited. Visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng or call the number 0706 777 9435 0706 777 9435. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
All right, welcome back from that break. It's still the agenda on Dominion Brokers Group. We're here with Dr. Mrs. Joke Fashola discussing child marriage and its impact on girls' education. Dr. Fashola, glad to know you're still there with us. Let's talk solutions here. How do we challenge cultural practices that have been in place for generations without alienating communities?
We have the solutions already on paper, sincerely. My PhD research was on implementation of policies. There is nothing that we don't have written down. Nothing that is not written down in our policy papers, our policy documents. But what happens to implementation? What happens with implementation? It is important, we need to actually stop girl-child marriage. And this requires a multifaceted approach that will address the root causes. What are these root causes? Illiteracy, ill education. People are not educated enough. When you find even a governor of a state, I think it was Zamfara, they married an underage girl. It's very common in the north. Unfortunately, it's not just for the fun of it. It's for their own pleasure, the pleasure of the men, who believe that the young girls, untouched, are sweeter. Do you understand?
Okay.
That the young girls are sweeter, they are fresh.
Okay.
The formation of the body develops in their hands. They groom the girl, and you see, it's sad when even men who should know better get involved in it. And we use religion as a face, as a cover to do rubbish. We need to retain girls in school. Girls should be retained in school, and this will be done with education and awareness. most of the time, the girls just accept it as their fate. They don't even know better. So we need to make sure that the girls are taught. And we have to do this through their mothers. Because if a mother is saying, this is how it is done, this is what we need to do, the girl would naturally assume that is her lot in life and that is her fate. So at the end of the day, if the mother doesn't know, the girl child doesn't know. And that's why we say, educate a woman and train a nation. Yeah. If the mother is not educated, if she has 5 daughters, the 5 daughters will pass through the same nonsense. Because as far as she's concerned, the same thing happens to her, and so it's normal. When the abnormality becomes normal, that's the issue of the girl. If the mother does not understand that this is wrong, and they pass on, it becomes a vicious cycle. They take it on. It becomes a vicious cycle. So at the end of the day, education is important. The mothers should be taught to fight and even make reports that this is happening. If that does not happen, we cannot stop it.
Are there specific programs or policies you've seen work well? Are there any?
Yes, they work well in the Southwest.
Okay.
These policies, I mentioned that policies are all over the place. But implementation, like you dare not hear somebody doing a circumcision in Ibadan now, for instance, which used to be very, very rife. An average Ibadan woman was circumcised. But now, you don't hear of it again. That's it. That's the workable policy. But go to a place like Ilorin. In fact, if you don't allow it could send you out of the house as a mother, that you are not allowing them to circumcise. So, cultural differences, and if the people at the top are culpable, the men in the north, it's the rich men that have the money to pay bride price. And who doesn't want her daughter to be wife to a rich man? So the women too need to begin to protest that I want my child to be educated. Public awareness campaigns too will work. So that the girls on their own will begin to say, no, we want to go to school. No, we want to go to school. But the willingness of the authorities is very important. Who will fight the fight? Where even the Commissioner for Education has a young girl at home as wife. So what do you say? Is it the one that will stop the girl child from not going to school? These are issues. The sensitization of society. Most of these issues, how often do we hear it? If we don't regard it as wrong, then it becomes a norm. Look at the issue of Amajiri in the north. It doesn't happen here. Even if it happens in the West, it's not in that magnitude. Then economic empowerment. How can I trade off a girl child to send a boy child to school? If the government does what the government is supposed to do, that wouldn't happen. If all children have a chance at good education, what happens? Everybody will do better. Unfortunately, we are breeding young girls, illiterate women. If we don't capture this now, it's going to become a menace in time. And we need to begin to sensitize and economic empowerment, even if the girls cannot have proper education in schools. They should have vocational education. At least they can own their own. They can put out and earn. That empowers them economically.
Okay.
And how do we do this? Organize vocational training lessons and classes. Work towards poverty eradication. Poverty eradication is important. If somebody wasn't thinking that, oh, I need money and farm is not doing well and all this whatnot. I know some of the girls are even used on the farms. If you go to places like Benue, it's the women who do this farming. They stop women from going to school and they send them to farms. You need to see a thief woman hold the hoe. They have this hoe that is big-headed, and you should see them on the farms. While the men, unfortunately, are sitting somewhere drinking burukutu. And how can we empower them economically? Microfinance loans, soft loans, cooperative societies. Women are all doing that. Even despite the disempowerment, deliberate disempowerment of women, women still forge ahead.
Okay.
And a woman drive Okada.
Dr. Mrs. Fashola, because of our time, we have some questions here. I know I really love the idea of empowering girls to advocate for themselves. However, there are questions here, and this question is from Sarah, and she's saying, how do we convince parents who believe early marriage protects their daughters from things like sexual violence or poverty? That's her question. Let me take that question again. How do we convince parents who believe early marriage protects their daughters from things like sexual violence and poverty? That's the question from Sarah here.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. And I mentioned something about that. We need to have the mothers. I kept emphasizing mothers.
Yeah.
Get educated. Train up a child the way it should go. In fact, we are subjecting the children to sexual violence in the hands of the so-called husbands. And poverty begins to roll in the family because the girl would think that what has been done is right. And that's why I call that the girls themselves need to begin to speak up. And that's why it's important to actually begin to catch them young. The sensitization should start in schools and from early ages so that the girls can confront parents at home. Yes. That's no, I'm not having that. And if there's a reporting system where the girls whose parents want to marry them off early can go to report and say, no. They want me to do this and I don't want to do it. And the society is ready. And the Ministry of Women Affairs or Ministry of Youth or something is ready to take it up. Like you see a lot of cases of problematic marriages. They go to social welfare. You won't believe the issues that are being solved by the social welfare ministry in Oyo State. So many matters are taken there. If we had something like that, where the girls can go and say, this is what my parents want to do, and I don't want to do it. Sincerely, you'll be shocked. This thing over time, parents will the mothers will start getting afraid. A mother who wants to do that, let them jail them for a short time to knock sense into their brains. They will stop it. And over time, it's not something that can stop in a day because it didn't start in one day. But over time, the situation will be arrested. And over time, we'll get a better society.
All right. We have another question.
Yeah, go ahead.
We have another question from Odwanyo here. He's saying, what can individuals like me who earns in these communities do to help? Odwanyo wants to help.
Yeah.
So what can individuals like Odwanyo do to help?
Yeah, advocacy. The children around, the young girls around you, sensitize them. You understand? Talk to the young girls around you. We should all become responsible for the girl child around us. The mothers that you can talk to them. And as I was saying about, I was on the solutions. And the thing I mentioned last, the legal and policy frameworks. If we had a policy, you said, what can you do? You can report. If there is a place to report to, there are times these people don't know they're doing the wrong thing. You know, it's one thing to do the wrong thing. It's one thing to realize that what you are doing is wrong. There are two different lines. A lot of them are ill-educated. And if you don't believe what you are doing is wrong, you cannot correct it. So it is people around them that will point them out, report them that this is wrong and this is what this family wants to do. You talk to the girl, you talk to the parents. If they don't listen, report them. But there has to be a place where we are reporting to. You know, some of the matters treated at social welfare.
Yeah.
Like children being maltreated. That's very common. It's usually other people who went to make a report. It's usually other people who went to make a report that this is happening, that we have noticed that this girl does not go to school, this girl does not, she stays at home, and she's the one taking care of the children. Where other children are going to school, she's at home, she's hawking. It is people who go to report. The person in the Wahala Gogo does not even realize he's in Wahala, but it is people around them that makes the report. And they are arrested and dealt with. That should begin to happen with issue of girl-child marriages. And we should begin to prosecute men who marry such girls.
Well, we should be wrapping it up right now on this conversation with Dr. Joke Fashola on child education, on the child marriage and girls education. Dr. Fashola, you've talked about the big picture here, which is empowerment policies and how critical it is to ensuring girls access education and even break free from harmful practices. You've talked about it, but you see, sometimes you want to say it's a tall order, but it sounds achievable with commitment, right?
Let me wrap up by, we need to domesticate and implement the Child Rights Act.
Okay.
We need to domesticate it and make it a national thing. You know, some of the states have not signed the Child Rights Act. We need to make sure that everybody come on board. Every state should sign the Child Rights Act, which actually encapsulates the rights of the girl child. The rights of a child has to be domesticated and enforced. Then we need to harmonize our laws, not one law for the north and another. We shouldn't be cherry picking with the rights of the child. All the states should come on board and harmonize these laws. You know, these laws are not harmonized because a lot of, especially in the north, a lot of them have these children in their homes as wives, and they call it enjoyment. They are enjoying fresh body that they will mess up. When they start dealing with them, but who will deal with them? And we should have strong action plans and enforcement mechanisms. It's important. If we don't enforce, then nothing is going to be achieved.
Okay.
Everybody needs to come on board and everybody needs to take action.
Well,
we need to take action.
Dr. Fashola, you've said so much this morning, but before we close, out of those many things you've said, what's that one thing you want our audience to take away today? Just one thing.
We need to intentionally take the child in this case, the girl child as priority. If you see something wrong, speak up. Most of these children cannot protect themselves. The society needs to protect them. Let everybody begin to speak up. This is one of such that you have done this morning, Dominion FM.
Okay, we lost connection with Mrs. Fashola there. Well, what an inspiring conversation, Dr. Joke Fashola. Well, thank you for your insights and your incredible work. And and to our audience, let's keep this conversation going. Do follow us on all our social media platforms on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. The handle is @Dominion Broadcast. And on the app X, it is @Dominion Cast. You can visit our website at www.dominion.org.ng. My name is Chike Ubogo. Enjoy the rest of your day.